Welcome back to the show, folks. Today we have an absolute treat for you. We are diving into the world of bulk loads. We have Gerald Flinn from BulkLoads.com. Get ready for some fascinating insights, a few laughs, and even a love story or two. Plus, who's ever heard of a children's book starring a semi truck? Stay tuned. You won't want to miss this episode. Let's get going.
Welcome to the Trucking Risk and Insurance Podcast.
Jared, welcome to the show. Can you take a
Welcome.
second and introduce yourself for our listeners and watchers, please?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. As a fellow podcaster myself, hosting the BulkLoads podcast, it's always an honor to come on other podcasts and hopefully people enjoy the show. But also, I tend to selfishly learn a little bit from other podcasts that I can bring back to mine. So yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. Yeah, Jared Flinn with BulkLoads.com. We are a load board specifically for bulk commodity trucking. So there's other boards out there, that focus on van, reefer, flatbed. When we started Bulk Loads in 2011, we wanted to build a load board specifically for hopper bottoms, in dumps, walking floors, pneumatics, belt trailers, and even all your different liquid tankers. So I always tell people if it's raw bulk commodities, whether it's dry or liquid bulk, that's what we do on bulkloads.com.
Cool. Sounds pretty descriptive. The website, bulkloads.com. If you need a bulk load, you go there. Is there a fee to joining?
Yeah, absolutely. So where we make our revenue, it's pretty simple. We're a SaaS model or subscription. And when we started back in 2011, it was kind of that's what other boards did that were in the industry. So like the DATs and truck stops and 123s and all them. So we kind of followed that model just because that's what customers were used to. And again, we actually like that model as a SaaS or subscription because you pay one fee and the more you use it, the lower the cost, really, the more value you get out of it. So I'm actually probably more against, pay per use type models if I'm being honest. But yeah, because I tell people, yeah, you pay one flat fee, it's $4.99 per year, and you get unlimited and full access to our database of loads, of shippers, and brokerages. Basically, we open the hood for everything. We don't do different levels or tiers for the subscription. You pay one fee and you get the kit and caboodle, all of it.
Cool. Well, while we're talking about it, you may as well say or throw out there, what's your service area? Where are the loads? What
Yep.
states? What countries? Whatever.
Yeah, good question. So my background is in agriculture. I grew up on a small farm in Missouri, graduated from the University of Missouri, and then moved to Kansas City and worked for a large grain trading company. And that's where I really found the need or the niche for bulk commodities. At one time, I was, managing over 800 truckloads a week coming in and out of our facilities, sometimes even more than that, but really saw a need. And this was early 2000s as the industry was digitizing to kind of revolutionize that and bring it more into an app or load board focus. So because of that, yeah, we really anywhere in the grain belt. So our big areas, obviously Midwest, from Minnesota down to Texas, and even from Pennsylvania over to Colorado. That's kind of the densest areas. But we also focus on the Southeast, the Northeast United States, West Coast, but in also Canada. So we hit all the province up in Canada. Most of that, it's people ask. We do. I mean, there are loads originating in Canada and delivering in Canada. A lot of our users, just because we're kind of U.S. domiciled, are looking for carriers that can run U.S. to Canada, Canada to the U.S. So that's what you're going to probably see more of than just inter Canada type shipments. But we do get that as well. But the companies that we see with the postings, it's going to be those loads coming out of Canada, coming down to the U.S. and vice versa.
And I was going to say, if I was a shipper, or I was going to ask, if I was a shipper and I had a load to post, or I had a load that I wanted to post, how do I go about that?
Yeah. So if you're not a member yet, you simply create a subscription. So you get on there, sign up, you can pay for the year. I should back up a little bit. We do have a monthly subscription as well. Most customers, you pay for the year, you get it for 50% off. So
Oh, wow.
obviously it's heavily skewed. You just pay for the full
Yeah.
year and you got it unlimited. But yeah, if you were a shipper, you'd sign up. And then once you're signed up, we have a support staff here that can walk you through, but we really try to make it really simple. Once you sign up, you go to add load, put all your parameters in there, post it, it goes live out there. But just like technology today, we have apps that all of our drivers have downloaded. A lot of these companies, they can get push notifications. So if a load gets posted that matches their area, they get notified by a push notification. They can click on, respond back. So we've really tried to digitize we call it the whole load life cycle. So from the beginning, from the load originating all the way to delivery, we encompass all of that within BulkLoads.
It sounds almost like a dating site. Where
It is. Hey, so actually, yeah, I have a story, and I don't want to bring this up. We actually have had people that have met and got married on BulkLoads.com.
No way. That's
I did a
cool.
podcast. It was like 4 years ago. It was a couple up in Minnesota, and she was a commodity trader. So she was looking for trucks to haul, and he was with a trucking company, and they started talking. They'd met through BulkLoads, started talking, and let's just say happily ever after.
Wow. Eh? Look at that.
People
and I
have
did
met,
see
yeah.
that on your website that you have a chat feature, correct?
Yep. Yep. So we really try to encompass all ways to communicate. We've really taken the initiative over the past 5 years to make the process as frictionless as possible. So however you want to communicate, we know that today, a lot of people, business is still conducted over the phone, but most companies today, they get used to, and just, it's easier to chat back and forth versus picking up the phone. And we understand that. Now, some people get frustrated. Some people, hey, I just prefer the old method. But again, as we get more digitized and more technology, people want easy ways to connect. So yeah, we have quick ways that you can chat back and forth on specific loads, or you can just chat back and forth with members online.
Well, and I think that's what happened in this couple, isn't it? They started chatting somehow.
Yeah.
Not that it's a dating site, but hey,
Right.
It's worked. It's worked.
but it strikes me the way you described being a shipper or receiver and the relationship with the trucking, it sounded kind of like a dating site where, you post, this is what I got, and then it goes out to like-minded people, it alerts them, and hopefully you both get to do business.
Yeah, and here's the end game, and some people talk about this being a bad business model. I shouldn't say bad, but like, you're like, Jared, you could probably make more off people if you do this. But once you make a connection, you have that connection forever.
Yep.
So if you're a shipper and you find a trucker, you can use them outside of our website. And we encourage that. And we've had people that have told us, like, Jared, we have found, this is from a trucker and shipper, but we have found companies to work with. And this company is now supplying me 80% of my business or 90% of my business.
Wow.
I don't have to look as hard anymore, which sounds like a bad business model for us. I love that. If they don't need to use our services, if they're finding that business, then we've done our job. It's mission accomplished. But most people, we keep our website so affordable. People keep it just number one. There are times, obviously, loads fall, loads drop, capacity
Yep.
fails. They got to fill in the gaps, or people use it just to keep an eye on the industry. You can kind of keep a pulse and see where loads are moving, what rates are doing. So for that reason, people tend to always keep a subscription. But yeah, it's been very rewarding to see that some of these companies, they found these relationships. We've had trucking companies, I kid you not, that started with one truck and today now have 60 trucks. I mean, in the last 8 years. So I that's where we see it super rewarding in job that we're doing, that we're hoping, or that we're helping these people find those connections and those business relationships.
Well, I was going to say the bulk load side of the business on a, load board approach is fairly new. Like, this is not, I trucked back in the 80s, and that definitely wasn't available. Back then it was mostly drive ins on your DATs, and we didn't even have truck stop back then. But, here in Canada, we got load link, drive in. Some flatbed stuff was popular, but I know I've worked with a number of bulk carriers, and they've said, yeah, it's always a fight because I've got a phone book of billions of numbers, and I'm calling all kinds of guys to see who's got something in that area when I get there tomorrow. So,
Yeah. So bulk loads, again, I don't think a lot of these companies, they focus just on the general freight. And that's why we came in and said, hey, we're going to do bulk. We have had
Mm,
companies say, "Why don't you guys do more? Why don't you do this?" And like, man, we're going to stick
yeah,
with what we know and stick with
sure,
that lane.
sure.
There's like,
Yep,
I've used this saying over. They, my listeners have heard this, but the riches are in the niches. Focus on a couple more,
yep,
niche things and really do those well. So that's where we've
exactly.
said, hey, we're going to go all in just on bulk and not focus on van reefer. And again, those other big boards, I don't get on them, but to my knowledge, they were just focused on the general. So it allows
Yeah,
us to really stay in our
yep,
lane and do the
sure.
bulk commodities. And you'll see most companies that are doing bulk commodities, that's all they're doing. I mean, there are
Yep,
some companies that may run flatbeds and reefers and vans along with bulk trailers, but most of our companies that we see, if they're running bulk commodities, that's all that they're doing.
agreed.
Hey, when you get good at something, that's when, sorry, when you diversify, that's when I see some companies screwing up because all of a
Mhm,
sudden they deviated from what they were really good at. And if you're
mhm,
good at marrying shippers and truckers in bulk, why not stay in your lane?
mhm,
Yeah. I'll say this so where we have diversified ourselves, so we've stayed in the bulk lane, but we've just added other product
Well,
solutions to what we
mhm,
do. So, bulk loads, we started that in 2011. In 2014, we started a factoring company called Smart Freight Funding, and I can tell you a little story on that. So I despise factoring companies. If I'm brutally honest with you, I worked at for a shipping company, and back in the day, these truckers, they'd send me tickets with it'd be stapled to a factoring company that all funds get paid to them. And I
yep,
tell these guys, I'm like, what are you doing? Like you're paying 8% of this
yeah.
invoice. And the company I was working for, we could pay in 24 hours.
Oh,
Like if a trucker wanted to come in, we would write them a check. I go, if you come in
yeah,
here, it'll take a little processing, but we can cut you a check the same day. Like you don't
yeah,
need to send this money out. What I
right.
figured out though, a lot of these companies, uh, it was kind of they had to have it for cash flow.
right.
So in 2014, as we built momentum up on bulk loads, we saw that there was a need out there to provide a factoring service better and more affordably than out there. The other thing too that we saw, a lot of these factoring companies still today, it's not just the fees and rates they charge, but they put these guys into these just predatorial contracts, for lack of better
Mhm,
terms. Like that they have to send all the receivables. If they stop, there's some companies like say trucker blows a tire or he's out of commission, blows an engine, he's out for 2 weeks. He still owes money to the factoring company. There's still minimums that he has to pay.
oh,
So he's not getting
geez.
any revenue coming in.
Yeah,
It is
yeah,
ridiculous. So anyways, make a short story, we started that in 2014, and it's an add-on service. Our members don't have to use it, but we have it there as a resource.
mhm,
And yeah, it's been a great addition to add on the factory service.
cool.
In 2019, we developed our own in-house TMS software. So a lot of companies the cool thing was, and there are a lot of other TMS systems out there, but we're the only ones that really focus on bulk. Actually, probably the only ones that focus on bulk commodities. But I mentioned earlier, some of these companies that we were growing from 1 to 5 to 10 trucks, didn't have that software solutions. So we saw there was a need as these companies are growing in our network. Why not keep providing them the tools and resources and software? So Bulk TMS is our TMS solution we started in 2019, that we have. Again, additional software that you can use if you want for your company. And then last but not least, 2 years ago, we started our own insurance agency, Bulk Insurance Group. So we also
Mm,
do truck insurance, and now it's an agency or brokerage. So we represent, all the not all, but a lot of the big carrier
sure.
companies out there. But that's been another value service that we added as well.
Mhm.
Well, and while we're talking about different things and all the different pieces of your company or your organization, what the heck is behind you up on the wall?
Yeah,
Talk about that a little bit.
yeah. So children's books behind me. The title, it's Semi Sam. So my boys who are currently 12 and 10 now, when they were babies, my wife, we had a little bookshelf in the kids' room, and kids would always want to get, a book to read at night before bedtime. But we could never find anything on trucking. Obviously, there's Thomas the Train, and I think there's Little Monster Machines and all these other ones. And at that time, we could not find one book on a children's book on trucking. So I just had this idea. I said, man, just like kind of like just like Thomas the Train, let's make a character called Semi Sam and his trucking adventures. So that's really what started it. Sam is actually my father's name, and a little credit to there. So I wanted to kind of plug him on there. But yeah, we started this 6 years ago. Today we have 5 different books out, and yeah, it's just been a blessing. People always ask the reading level, which again, I'm not an author or book writer or anything like that. So when I started this, I was kind of pictured that this would be from anywhere from 4 to 7 years old, kind of reading level. But as I told you guys earlier before we started the show, like there's some kind of fun adult humor in there, all clean, all just wholesome adult humor. But yeah, these books are behind me. You can go to Amazon.com and find them. Just search Semi Sam, and you'll find them on there. And yeah, it's just been a blessing. We probably give more of them away. We order a bunch in, and then as we see customers, and especially if we do visits with customers, we'll usually bring a stack of books and give them to kids. So
Cool.
it's been very rewarding
Yeah.
to get them out.
Sweet.
Well, and as you said, I'm not aware of any other book that's targeting this industry that I love
Mhm.
so much,
Mhm.
you know, and that's a great handle, Semi Sam.
Yeah.
I like that. I
Actually,
like
as we speak, and before the end of the year, we're releasing a coloring book as well. Then it's going to be a Semi Sam coloring book. So I think we have a total of like 18 characters kind of throughout this. And I got to show you these because like we have some really cool ones. Like we have Mr. DOT. He's one of the
that.
yeah. And but anyways, so now we have images all of them for kids to color. So we got coloring books
Cool.
coming out at the end of the year. So we'll give those out. I think they'll be on Amazon as well, but that'll be
Yep.
fun so kids can actually color in their own characters.
Awesome.
Yep.
Now, is Mr. DOT a good character or is he the adversarial character?
We had to actually, that's a great question. We had to decide whether he was going to be a villain or a friend to Semi Sam. For this book, we've kept him as a friend, as
Oh,
a
good
helpful
deal.
friend. Yep. So
Awesome.
And honestly, I
yeah.
think that is the right choice because I don't think DOT should be viewed as a villain in real life.
No.
You
No.
know,
They're there to help.
yeah, so they're there to keep our roads safe. That's all they're
Exactly.
doing. Like, and that's a great thing. So good
That's
And what's
choice,
cool is this
Jared.
book, hopefully over the years, as kids, not all, but as kids get older and into trucking, they psychologically see
Yeah. Yeah.
DOT as a helpful friend,
Correct.
which they
Correct.
are on the
Yep.
highway. So this last
Great.
book that we did, we have a forum on BulkLoads, but I posted the book on there. But I told them that I asked our members that for a next fictional character that we're going to use next year, and we're trying to think of the whole storyline. We're either going to do maybe an Easter one. I've even
Oh.
thought about we have a truck show one, but just another, maybe even just an accident type one. But I've had some pretty good responses of new fictional characters. One was Big Rig Brandy, I think is somebody said my Stan needs a girlfriend, or we just need a woman character in our
Yep.
storyline. So
Sure.
we're going to include
Sure.
one of them.
And again, appropriate as women become much more influential, but
Yeah.
much more part of our industry.
Absolutely.
You know, they play an integral part. So
Mhm.
awesome. Let's get back
Yeah.
to bulk loads. No, I find it fascinating that you are an author of children's books.
Yeah.
That was just I didn't see it on BulkLoads.com. So why isn't it on BulkLoads.com?
That's a good question. I mean, if you dig in there, you can. We don't broadcast it probably on the website as much, just I guess because it's been just more of a kind of a side hustle type deal. But yeah, I never would have pictured myself either. It was just one of those. For me, my greatest satisfaction comes from creating new things, and I always think when I get up every day, for me to feel fulfilled, I have to feel like I'm creating something new. And I think that's been kind of my spirit over the last 15 years working in bulk loads and some of these other entities that we've created on the way. And it hasn't been just me. I get a great team and some very bright other partners that are involved in this business. And yeah, it's been super blessed for me to really focus and maybe do what I love to do.
Cool.
In some ways, I'm very similar. I don't think of it as creating. I think of it as learning. Every day I want to learn something new.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
a lot of the time probably like you start a new venture, such as maybe writing a children's book, and you realize, holy smokes, I got a lot to learn here. And you take
That's
on the
right.
challenge.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really
So,
good.
bulk loads. Tell us more about bulk loads. You've said you do business in Canada and the US, primarily Midwest, it sounded like.
Yep.
Although I saw loads on the computer from Ontario. So we're not the Midwest, we're just north of Pennsylvania and New York State.
Yep.
Tell us more about bulk loads.
Yeah. So I kind of mentioned the trailer types earlier. So all the ones that we encompass. So again, and that's going to be a variety of agricultural products, but also industrial products. So we'll start first on the hopper freight, and that's probably one of our largest loads that get posted on there. So we're very connected with a lot of agribusinesses. So all your big grain companies, your ABCDs, but then a lot of your feed companies, ethanol plants, soybean processing. So anything kind of ag, grain, feed, fertilizer related, those are going to be our shipping companies that are posting these loads on there, looking for trucks. Um, you also get on the industrial side, and those are going to be maybe more in dump, although in dump can also be agricultural related, but we're also very big in the recyclables. So you'll see a lot of different metals, aggregates, stuff like that that gets posted on their sand. And those that will get moved into in dump. I would say even up in where you guys are, we see more of that. What's also interesting is I've been in this business. There's certain areas in Canada and the US that they're used to one trailer type. So that's just what they use. Like Pennsylvania
Mhm.
mentioned, I was up there last month. Like most companies love working with walking floors. So you'll see more walking floors, even though a hopper can haul it or even an end dump. Most companies prefer the walking floors. Southeast end dumps are very popular. So even though it can be hauled on a hopper, a lot of these receivers, they're used to end dumps. So that's what they deal. But yeah, so I mentioned hoppers, end dumps, walking floors. We deal a lot with mulch deliveries, anything big, clumpy, cakey. We also do a lot with the pet food industry. So pet food, which is getting larger and larger and larger.
Mhm.
I mean, that industry, a lot of our customers haul a lot of pet food primarily because a lot of that stuff is super specialized and it
Sure.
moves a lot of miles. So you'll see a lot of loads going out to the West Coast, East Coast, loads up into Canada. That's another big industry that we're involved with. On the pneumatic side, that can be industrial. So that can be anything from cement to plastics, anything that's got to be compressurized that goes into pneumatic. We deal a lot with those bulk products. And then we get on the liquid side. Liquid can be a wide range. So probably we see a lot on the liquid fertilizer side that gets moved on there. But we have anhydrous ammonia. We do a little bit of food grade liquid. The thing with I'll tell people this all the time. We do liquid loads and they're kind of feast or famine. With liquid, you don't see the spot market as you do with a lot of those because it's so specialized. A lot of times
Mhm.
if a
Yeah.
tanker, it's super specialized, he's not hauling a lot of spot freight out there. I mean, he's got a dedicated contract. There's no fill in, no reloads. A lot of
Right.
times that specialized trailer can't haul a lot of other materials. So
Right.
for that reason, we don't get a huge amount on there, but we do get sometimes. And there's times when the market is flipped upside down or you got way too many loads and not enough trucks, we get a lot of postings in, and then vice versa. We'll see where there's low amount of loads, a lot of trucks looking, so we'll get a lot of signups. So I'm just saying that if you do liquid, we encourage you to look at it as well. But for sure, without a doubt, if you're in Canada or the US and have a hopper, end dump, belt trailer, walking floor, we can help you out.
And if you
Cool.
ship goods that go in hoppers and dumps and walking floors, you should be looking at bulkloads.com, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
How do you find the like I'm just curious with bulk loads in comparison to the general freight market, do you see similar swings in freight rates and capacity aspect as we do on the general side?
Yeah, great question. So it was last spring. I had a banker on my podcast, on the Bulk Loads podcast, and he did this. He said, and because he's got customers that are dealing with general freight, dry vans, and all that, and then he's got bulk customers. And he goes, "What's interesting? If you look at general freight, it's like this."
Yep.
He goes, "But if you look at hopper freight, bulk freight, it's like this." So
Okay,
we don't
good to
see the
know.
major swings like you do
Yep.
in the general freight. I think a lot of that has to do just with the seasonality. We're in agriculture, so
Sure.
unless
Sure.
unless people and animals stop eating, we have a job.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, and
Mhm.
then also, we would see big swings if you had really bad droughts or natural disasters, and we still get that. But even with technology today, you can have a relatively dry year, crop year, and crops are still producing the same amount they did 15 years ago. It's just
Mhm.
crazy. So, I mean, you're still like this year, we had some drought areas, but these companies were still getting record harvests coming in. So, with that being said, like I said, we're not recession proof, but I like I said, we have a little more protection, I think, versus the general
Yeah.
freight where you
Yeah.
have more disposable items and disposable income
Right.
expenditures.
Right. Do you get into very much cargo that is on a hazmat basis? I heard you say ammonia there. So,
Yep.
but I was just wondering other types of products that might be dangerous goods, hazmat.
We do some hazmat stuff, obviously on the fertilizer, and I'm thinking there's some other products that go in hoppers, some ammonium nitrate and dry products as well. To my knowledge, most of it would be on the ag side when it comes to hazmat
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Jared, as we're winding up, I see you've got a banner on your website talking about the bulk freight conference for
Yeah.
2025.
Well,
What's that about? Where is it? Give us a little info on that.
Yeah, man, I'm so glad you brought that up. So 2 years ago, we had this idea to host our own conference. And obviously there's a lot of different trucking conferences out there, truck shows, freight brokerage conferences, this and that. But we said, why not start one specifically for the bulk industry? And this is what we knew. Since 2011, we now have close to 7,000 members on our BulkLoads platform.
wow. Cool.
Yeah, and we're proud of that, but we've said, like, "Man, we've done a really good job of bringing people together digitally. Why not bring them together face to face?" It's just
Mhm.
this. We're providing the same service, only we're going to do it. So 2 years ago, we hosted our first ever conference. We had 200 people show up. Was an awesome time. Was down
Wow.
here in Springfield, Missouri, home of Bass Pro Shops. They have a huge convention center that we hosted it over there. Last year, we had close to 500 in attendance. And now,
Wow.
yeah, so double. And then this year we're projecting over 1,000. So we're actually moving the conference to Branson, which is just about 40 miles south
Yep.
of Springfield here, Branson,
Yep.
Missouri. They have Branson's a big tourist area, so
Yeah.
they have a huge conference center, but also there's so much you can do down there.
Yeah.
Obviously there's amusement parks and shows and golfing and lake and all that. So that's where we're having. But yeah, it's been one of those, we take our conference very serious. Number one, we don't do it we don't do it for as a revenue source at all. Our goal is if we can do this conference and break even, we've done our job. But it's really just bringing people together. And you all know there's a huge difference. You talk to someone forever, but there's a huge difference when you meet them face to face. And in our
Mhm.
industry, a lot of people don't get to see each other face to face. It rarely happens.
Right.
There's still companies that I worked with 20 years ago, still talk to, but have never met them.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I think just the level of trust goes up. But also, when you bring together people in one session, you work through the issues going on in the industry, kind of expose all that, without a doubt, good things come out of it. There's voices that are get to be heard, actions that are made, and we all benefit as well. Because sometimes we
Sure.
believe in this industry, we know that relationships are valuable, but there is this stigma that you have shipper versus carrier, broker versus carrier. One, it's a zero sum. Somebody wins,
Mhm.
someone loses, and like we're trying to debunk that. We're saying like this is a relationship game. We want to increase relationships, bring people together. Everybody's got to walk away. Everybody's got to win at this. I've been
Mhm.
saying that since I got in freight a long time ago. It's like, hey, if it's a zero sum, like somebody's going to be out of business. So we all have to
Yep.
win. So yeah, we're super excited. It's going to be a 3-day event. It's April
Cool.
16th through the 18th down here in Branson. You can go to the bulkfreightconference.com, the link, and you can get tickets purchased. We keep them relatively inexpensive, but I can promise you this, you will not be disappointed. We have all-star lineup of guest speakers, of panel discussions. We're going to have show trucks inside the arena where it's being
Yep.
hosted. So we've already
Cool.
got a lot of commitments for people bringing in their trucks. We'll have happy hours. We have a comedian coming in. So it's going to be just world class. It's going to be friendly. It's family friendly as well. So we want people to be there. We see this as such an honor. I'm excited right now. I know when the week comes, I'm going to be nervous as all get
Yeah.
out that everything. But yeah, it's one of those. It's these things, these events like this actually fill me up more than anything.
Sure. That's cool. That's cool because, there's always been something needed for that niche market.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And when you see our conference and you can get on the website, bulkfreightconference.com and kind of see what I mean. But like, again, we're very tied to agriculture. So this conference, you're going to see a lot of Carhartts and cowboy boots walking around. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just, that's the nature. Those
Sure.
are our customers, a lot of farmers, truck
Mhm.
drivers, people of that. So just, it's a
Sure.
really good old boy event.
Cool.
That's excellent. Jared, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the podcast this week. Appreciate your time. And your
Mhm.
contact info, of course, is in the show notes down below for those who want to reach out, especially about the conference. I think that sounds flipping awesome.
Well, and I got to go check out Semi-Tham.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to send you some free copies. So don't purchase them yet on Amazon. I'd be happy
I
to
appreciate it.
send some,
Cool.
yeah,
Sure.
send them your way as a
Yeah.
thank you for letting me come on the podcast. And yeah, I'll just say this. Thanks guys for having me on. Man, it's been great. I love, as a fellow podcaster, being able to come on other podcasts
Mhm.
and let people know about what we do. But man, thank you for what you guys are doing out there. I think there needs to be more shows like this. I don't think the podcast area is oversaturated. I think there needs to be
Yep.
voices like this. One thing we know more than anything, our listeners, which are primarily truck drivers, have a lot of time to listen and consume content, but why not be a light out there to give them good, positive, refreshing content?
Agreed. I
I
agree.
agree so much. Jared from BulkLoad.com, thanks so much. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode, folks. And I really hope you enjoy diving into the world of bulk loads with our guest, Gerald Flynn of BulkLoads.com. Please don't forget to leave us a comment, click that like button, and subscribe. Until next time, be safe and keep on trucking.